Hi folks, and welcome back to Meaningful Money. Right, I'm back here on my log. It's an often visited venue because it's out of the wind. One of the few places in West Cornwall which are out of the wind. This is my kitchen. It's dry, but it's freezing cold, so I'm wrapped up warm. And I'm not actually quite this fat, and I am fairly, but not quite this fat, so I look as if I'm pregnant, I think, but never mind, you don't mind, I'm sure. We need to wrap up our series on retirement options. One last case study and then just summarise the whole thing. We looked at some case studies last time, so we're going to carry on with that. But by the way, did you see the live show last Friday, the first one? So every Friday now, 4 p.m. on meaningfulmoney.tv. Join me for a live show. It's a look back at the week's events, what matters, what doesn't, and what it means for you and your financial planning. So I can take questions live on the fly and things like that. So join me every Friday, unless I'm on holiday or something like that. But every Friday, all being well, 4 p.m. on meaningfulmoney.tv. Okay, so before we get into the last case study, I just need to thank my good friends down here in the bottom right, 7 Investment Management, who continue to sponsor Meaningful Money. I'm so grateful to them for doing so because they help me to keep going. So I'm going to scooch and bring in the last of our 3 case studies. And this is Roger and Rosie. Now, they're very different from our previous case studies, much bigger, that's not the right word, much wealthier people perhaps than most. These are retiring company directors. They have their state pensions, of course, because they paid their national insurance over the years, but they also have personal pension plans of £400,000 each. Now that's just a figure out of the air, okay? It doesn't have to be that big, but the purpose of this really is to say that if I had come into my office these people saying, what, Pete, should we do with our pensions? Well, apart from all the rest of the things I would talk to them about, if somebody presented the pension fund of this size to me, I would be talking to them instantly about income drawdown, more correctly called unsecured pension. Depending on how much risk they are prepared to take, if any, because if they were prepared to take no risk at all, then drawdown may not be an option. But the benefit of drawdown is that you keep hold of your fund. You see, somebody who's got 400 grand in a pension fund usually will balk at just handing over that fund to an annuity company. Yes, they get an income for life, but that's a lot of money to suddenly not have anymore and to hand it to, you know, Aviva or Legal and General or somebody. So I'd be talking to them about income drawdown so the fund could remain invested. Chances are somebody with a £400,000 pension has taken significant interest in their pension planning up to now. So it's very rare you would get somebody with a pension fund that size who is completely risk averse. It can happen. If they are really worried about risk, you know, let's say they've taken all their risks during their working life, now they just want security. There are guaranteed drawdown plans, which we mentioned 2 or 3 videos ago, which are expensive in terms of annual management charges, ongoing charges. But that expense is kind of an insurance premium because it means the fund value can't go down. So that might be perfect for Roger and Rosie if they really don't like risk. But even a normal drawdown, which is whereby the fund is invested, you know, it's still, you know, investment can be done very high risk or very low risk. It could still be invested. So I'd need to be talking to them about that. But the point of this is just to say that there's no way I'd be talking to these people about an annuity, probably. But you never know. So that's Roger and Rosie. Let me just sort of get rid of them and just bring up our 5 factors again. These, remember, is what we started this series with. The 5 factors which will influence your income in retirement, or the choices you make when you're converting your pension funds into an income. They are risk, how much risk you're prepared to take, income, so what form you would like it to take. Do you want it level, increasing, you know, paid every month or paid once a year, whatever. Death benefits, you know, if it's your pension, what do you want to happen to it after you die? The costs you're prepared to bear, both now and ongoing, and what state your health is in. Those 5 factors will influence your choice of retirement income significantly, as will many other factors in your life. And that is why I should say right now that if there's any time you want to get advice in your financial life, it's now. Get good advice from a chartered, certified financial planner, somebody who knows what they're doing when it comes to pensions, and it will pay off, because you don't want to get this decision wrong, okay? So for goodness sake, don't put too much weight on these case studies. They're just, you know, they're nominally helpful at best. you know, don't look at it and say, well, that sounds a bit like me, I shall do whatever Pete says. For goodness sake, send me an email and become a client and I'll help you properly. Or, you know, go and find a good advisor near you. You can always drop me an email. I'll try and find somebody that I would be happy going to see near to you. I've got many contacts in this wonderful profession, and I might be able to point you in the right direction. So let me get rid of this graphic. If you hear a dog barking in the background, by the way, that's my Maisie. My daughter Ellie is also around walking her somewhere. So that's it, okay? All those things have a bearing on that income that you're going to have in retirement. Think about it carefully and get it right and seek advice. So that's the end of that series, finally. Been going on a long time. So I'm just going to do a one-off next time, and that's going to look at what happens when it all goes wrong. You know, you get advice from an advisor and it turns out to be awful. Or you have an investment with a company and that company goes bust and you lose your money. What do you do then? Where do you go and what is your recourse? So join me for that. Don't forget to join me every Friday at 4 p.m. for the live show, and from my log I'm going to do one more here. Thanks for watching and I'll see you next time.